Hey gang, how's it going? It's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos. You should know this by now. Anyway, you know what? It has been like a week or two since VCF Midwest, and I completely forgot to do a pickups video. And so what I've got is I've actually got some photos that I put together of all the items that I picked up at the show, and I thought I would share it with you. I talked about some of it on Retro Repair Roundtable, but I'll go through it again for folks here on the channel. So let's take a look. All right, well, hopefully everything is going to be mostly in frame. I'll duck out of the way, I guess, where I can, but this was a neat item that I picked up that I was really shocked. I'd never seen one of these before. It is a new bus modem for the Macintosh 2. Again, I've never seen one of these. I've always just seen external devices, but it was kind of cool. It was in the box, included the driver discs and like the little leaflet manual and everything like that. So yeah, absolutely, I picked that up off the free pile. Let's see, let me get over to the proper monitor. Here we go. This is something else that I picked up. It was actually kind of in two parts. There was a table, and I still owe the guy $10. I walked off and completely, I didn't have change and he didn't have change. So I'm going to have to track him down next year and pay him. Or if you see the video, please let me know, because I'd like to get you paid. But it's a SCSI Logitech scanner for Macintosh. It's a hand scanner. If you remember, kind of in the days before flatbed scanners and things like that came down in price, there was a whole bunch of these that kind of hit the market that were hand scanners. So you would kind of lay it on the table, and you would kind of very slowly pull the scanner down over the thing, and then it would the software would kind of stitch the image together. And it wasn't perfect, but it was okay. It kind of got better as time went on, and then like this one right here that I've got is a black and white one, and then later they released color versions. I think that there is a color version of this scanner that might even work with this box. I don't know for sure, but anyway, I just thought it was really neat. I had one of these back in the day. I don't think it was a Logitech one. It might have been another brand, but I'm just really excited to have another one just to play around with. Tom Barber, I think like last year at VCF Midwest, I had a bunch of these Mac TX. It's like Mac ATX kind of, boards made up for the like the LC2, where basically you can use a Pico ATX power supply with this little breakout board and replace the original power supply, in those machines. So he actually went ahead and soldered them up, populated the boards and things like that, and gave me the adapters. He gave me like a stack of them. So I'm gonna get those soldered together, play around with those at some point. Geek and Spiel. Every year he's got custom stickers, he's got custom case badges, and this year was no different. So for VCF Midwest number 18, had these 3 case stickers. I think it was like $7. It wasn't too bad. So yeah, I definitely picked up a set of those. Really nice looking stuff. This was really cool. Steve, not Mac84 Steve, was running the table kind of on the other side where Mark normally has it from MacFX, normally has this table. Adam was running that table this year. But I kind of saw when he was unloading a couple of power CDs, and I was like, oh my gosh, if there's like a great deal to be had on a power CD, I would love it. I have one. I've got a power CD. I've got the speakers that go with it. I've got like a remote. I've got the power brick. I got all the stuff, but I don't have a base. So if you remember, I actually did like a 3D printable base for the power CD, because that's the thing it seems like everybody's missing. And honestly, at this point in the game, nobody's using a power CD to actually read CDs. I mean, it's less than 1x, I think, in practice. I think Apple might have sold it as a 1x drive, but I don't know anybody that it ever got close to that in terms of performance. But in any case, he had it, and he was like, oh, well, do you want it? And I was like, yes, I want it. And it happened to include a base. So finally, I have a complete power CD. I don't know if the problem... and I've got like another mechanism, like another drive mechanism. So maybe between the two, I might have a working one. But again, you wouldn't want to use it. I mean, not even as a CD player, I don't think. But it's just kind of an interesting thing. When I was going through the free pile, I actually picked up a thin client. This is some kind of, I don't know if it's Atom based, but I'm pretty sure it's just kind of some kind of low end Intel x86 chip in there. But I'm gonna play around with this at some point. I also picked up, oh my gosh, and it's right here. I actually picked up a Mavica, and this is not the top end model. This is like an FD92. So it's, is it an FD92? Yeah, FD92. Which is only like 1.6 megapixel, but it actually has like it's got like real glass in it. Like it's really moving lenses back and forth. Unlike some of the other models, which are strictly like a digital zoom. So I made a video that was all about taking pictures with this and selfies. So I'm still working on that. So I think there are some fun opportunities for using your Mavic as a selfie camera, but I haven't had time to do much else with that. But eventually. I picked this up at the show actually for $20, and I was really, really excited. And the guy that sold it to me, I was like, hey, do you have any floppies? No, I don't have any floppies, but I got a memory card. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So 128 meg memory card. That's like a ton of images that this thing will store. And then it was like, hey, do you have a battery? Well, I guess I got a battery. Hey, do you have a shoulder strap? Yeah, I guess I got a shoulder strap. So for $20, I had an amazing deal. And I had a lot of fun taking photos with this at the show. And I think I'll be bringing it to other shows too, just because people just love these Mavicas. And I think they take some pretty good images for something of that era. Savvy Sage was going around, and if you've ever watched his channel, he's really into the Berkeley system stuff, especially like You Don't Know Jack and After Dark and all of those products. And he actually was giving away some CDs, and he gave me this copy of You Don't Know Jack the Ride. And I will play around with it at some point, but I like these old games, so I'm sure it'll be lots of fun. Adam from Adam's Apples, a long time ago, I say a long time ago in internet speak, but this was maybe like a month or two ago, I pointed out that there was a Motorola StarMax motherboard and some accessories that were just hanging out on eBay, and it was pretty reasonably priced, and I shared it with Adam, and then I noticed that it was gone, and it was because he bought it, and that's fine. When I share stuff with people, if I want to buy something, I'm just going to buy it. And if people want it, then by gosh, I must have thought enough about you to let you know that the thing was available. So Adam picked this board up because I think he needed some of the other accessories. I think the primary thing that was special about this is if you think about the Power Macintosh 4400, like the Tarzania or whatever that architecture is for the clone machines, Apple on like the 4400 and things like that, I think they only released a riser board. So you see that really long white, it looks like a 64-bit PCI Express slot. I think Apple only released a version of that board that has two PCI slots and then a COM slot 2 slot for like a modem or a network card and stuff. And I mean, if you collect this stuff, you know that those COM slot 2 devices are like really expensive and really hard to get. Like actually, oh wow, that's really cool. I've got a COM slot 2 modem and a COM slot 2 network card just hanging out here. But StarMax, on their design, they actually released a riser card that has 3 PCI slots, which is way more handy. I mean, because PCI NICs are like way easier to find. So anyway, he picked this up, and I guess he didn't need the rest of it, because when I got to the show, he was like, hey, I bought that board. Do you want the rest of it? And I was like, yeah, that'd be really great. What I really kind of wish is that somebody would have had the guts to populate this MFM floppy header. MFM is like the standard for like PC floppy drives, and I mean other platforms too. But on the Mac, it's GCR, where it's sort of like a variable read speed on the floppy drive, which, you know, I guess works okay, but clone manufacturers didn't end up using PC floppy drives because you would have lost compatibility. Like MFM won't support 800K floppies, and actually, if you plug or you put in an 800K floppy in a 1.44 megabyte PC drive, you can actually screw the disk up, because just the read process, it reads it weird and can corrupt your data. And I don't think anybody wanted to be the company that sold clone machines that could wreck your 800K Mac floppies. So I don't think anybody really did anything with it. But what is nice about this board is you'll see it has like a VGA port instead of like an HDI 15 or HD 15. Yeah, HD 15 instead of DB 15, which is Apple's kind of go-to port for their video stuff. And then also, in addition to ADB for a keyboard and mouse, this board actually has PS2 keyboard and mouse. And that was another thing for the clone manufacturers, just a way for you to open it up where you could have more different components, I guess. Adam also gave me this Centrus 610 motherboard. I've been wanting to play around with these for a while. My whole thing is I want to mount one of these on a board for testing like RAM and some other things like that. So I just that was really cool. Thank you, Adam. Really nice. Actually, I went back in the gentleman who you all know from doing PicoGus stuff had a booth and was showing off all the PicoGus stuff, and I actually had a few things to trade, and you took pity on me and accepted a trade for a PicoGus. So I have one of those. This board design is actually kind of neat because what it does is it's an ISA card, fits inside your machine. And it has a header for what the heck do you call it? Like wavetable header. So you can actually have like wavetable modules, stick it on there, and have that could be like a little sound card right there. Or if you look at the module, like this right here, it's actually designed for those weird Chinese like tablet PC things, like LGR and Chris from Regitech Chris had one of those actually at the show. But the edge connection on there, boop, plugs in the side, so you can actually use like the PicoGus with that old machine. And I got him to throw in like a MIDI adapter, because this thing also does intelligent mode MIDI. So if you have like an MT32 or something like that, it will absolutely just work, and you won't have like have to load like a TSR and DOS or anything like that to be able to use like an MT32 or anything like that, because the intelligent mode stuff kind of screws things up if you don't have like a real MPU 401 and IDC whatever crazy other stuff. But there was a guy that had set a booth up outside on I think like early Sunday or something, that had like some Macintosh software and stuff in it. These are all kind of the 2.0 versions of that. I have a lot of this stuff anyway, or at least the Mac Write, Mac Draw, Mac Paint. So this is like all the 2.0 versions of these things. But it's still kind of neat to have them, and the Mac Draw is sealed in the box. Nobody ever opened it, but it is kind of neat because it talks about works with the 120K, 512K, 512K enhanced, and the Mac XL if you're using MacWorks. Oh, and the Mac Plus. So it's kind of crazy, like all of the like later where it was like, oh, we got this huge product line now, and we got to make sure that we plaster it everywhere. Oh, and then also there's a copy of After Dark, which who doesn't like After Dark, right? This was in the free pile, and actually what I noticed about it first was the asset tag, because I'm a big sucker for asset tags on machines. I just love kind of those, like a bit of a history of whatever that computer is. But this one says Mercy Memorial Hospital. Who knows where that is, but I probably could Google it. But it's an SE30 case, CRT, and analog board and power supply. No logic board. And the screen, if you really look at it, you can tell that it like got a lot of use. It's like you can even tell like the little border around it. So the screen is probably nuked, but I really need an extra case because my SE30 case is kind of rough looking, and I just figure I'll get the best parts of whatever and then re-gift it to somebody else. So Eric Helgeson from the Blue Scuzzy project actually has been holding on to one of these for me for quite a while. This is a Color Classic, just a case. Eric has had the misfortune of buying like 3 or 4 Color Classics online, and every one of them, when they arrive, the CRTs are necked or something bad has happened in shipping. And so he's just been sitting on a pile of these Color Classic cases for a while, and he was very nice. He gave me one. And then I also saw these AAUI, and I think it was $5 for both of them. If you need one and don't have one, they're worth their weight in gold. But it's basically the AUI standard for where it's like a DB15 or something like that, and then you could adapt it out to whatever you needed. So if you needed thick net or thin net or whatever, you could just adapt it out. Well, of course, Apple can't just leave well enough alone, so they had their own version, which is called AAUI, which is the kind of their version of all that, and that's what these are. These are just AAUI adapters, so you can hook up thin net, like, Cat 5 kind of Ethernet, or 10 base T, I guess is probably what I should just say. But I'd never seen one of these Centercom adapters before. I've seen like a lot of other brands, like I've seen like those Dana ones, like the one on the left. But that Centercom is kind of a weird one, because most of the ones I've ever seen of that just have the AUI connection on it. So it's got like a big DB5 on the back of it. But anyway, I thought it was kind of neat, so I was like, yeah, I got to get those. Eric also important clarification there, loaned me a Mac clone floppy drive. So I actually bought the PC version of this drive too, and what I'm going to do is I want to scan the faceplate. So Eric was very nice enough to loan this to me so I could actually scan the faceplate on it. While I was there, I also was gifted a PowerBook Duo 280C. That's like the 68040 33 megahertz color. Duo is Apple's like sub notebook of the PowerBook series. Like the original PowerBooks all have like a 100 series, and then the Duos were all 200 series. This is kind of a neat setup, because there was someone else that was actually selling. They had like a metric buttload of Mac stuff that they had brought to the show, and just helped people unload and do things like that, and just gave them water and checked up on them during the day and kind of helped with pricing and all that. Steve did a lot more work than I ever thought that I did, but when they put some of the stuff out, they had a couple of Duo docks, and this one right here, I don't know if it has the right lid or whatever, but this is actually a Duo Dock Plus, which is specifically for the 68040, because most of the Duos are all like 68030 machines. So the original version of the Duo Dock and the Duo Dock 2, they actually have like a place inside for adding a math coprocessor, and they also have like 32K of cache to like speed the machines up. The Duo Dock 2 does not have those things. It does not have the FPU, because if you're using it with a 68040, what's it matter? It won't matter, because the 68040 has a FPU built in, at least the version that's in the Duo 280C, or the PowerPC Duo that came out, which is the 2300C. I mean, they don't have a use for that. They don't need the cache either, so those are omitted from the redesign. Also, the color ones, the screens are like a little thicker, or they're a little bit thicker than the older Duos, so they had to make there's a different lid that kind of raises things up. So but I was able to plug it in, and it was able to eject and things like that, because there's normally like a capacitor that blows on these things. Also, when I got it, the battery, it had like an extended use battery or whatever, and it stuck out like a little bit off the front. And so I went by the guys that were selling all the Mac stuff, and I was like, hey, you got a bunch of Duos out here, I just want like a factory looking battery. I was like, $5 and I'll give you the other battery, and we just swap. And they were like, yeah, that's fun, it's fine, money is good, we like money. And so they swapped me batteries, but I'm just gonna disassemble it anyway, because I mean, they're long dead. Adam from Adam's Apples was really nice. He gave me a dock, like a docking station, a USB-C docking station. I don't know if he had several of these or what was going on, but this will be really, really great. Supposedly it'll just work with my M1 MacBook Air, so that's perfect. I'd love to take that on the road. This is something that was on the free pile, and Garth, I guess, was like, "What? Oh, I can't believe you grabbed that." But it's there's a bunch of companies that made it, but this one is made by a company called Diamond, that basically you can take your compact Mac, like a 128/512, a Plus, an SE, a Classic, whatever, and stick it on top of there, and it gave you an adjustable base, so that way you could kind of lean it back and get a better vantage on the screen or whatever. So, but I actually ended up using this at my booth all weekend, and it worked out great. My machine never fell on the floor once. So really happy to have that. I've wanted one of those for a long time. And I'm thinking probably at this point, probably take it apart and scan it and put it out there, and people want to make reproductions or something. A viewer was kind enough to give me this Tandy 1000 SL2. This is like a, because the original like 1000s are like 8088. This is actually 8086. But it's mostly complete. I think it's missing just a few little tiny things. Nothing that can't be sourced or found elsewhere online. But yeah, I was just really, really excited because you know, it's Septandy this month. I don't know that I'm gonna have time to do anything with it. I mean, it's the 21st, so I don't know if I have anything to or time to do anything with it, but I am kind of excited to play around with this. But supposedly it'll pass the RAM test, but then it like locks up or doesn't completely boot or something. But I'll put a little bit of time and trouble into it and see what I can figure out. It included a IDE hard card, which is kind of fun. The only thing I would say is that because it's 8-bit ISA, you got to find like an IDE card that's 8-bit addressable, which is a little tougher to do these days. I think that there are some other solutions that might work, but I'm thinking that just just to make it easy, I think Bacchus was going to send me XT IDE or something, or I think it was Bacchus. Maybe it was Gut Bomb. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. But in any case, so I can get some IDE in the machine, assuming I can get it up and running, but we'll see. And then it'll look really cute because this is something I already had. It's a like a 8-bit ISA SCSI card, because that's a SCSI drive, and that was in my other Tandy. But I just had that laying around. I just thought it was funny because I got an IDE and I got a SCSI hard card now. Something else, another viewer very, very kindly gave me, I've been looking for this sound card adapter cable-y thing, which is for a board that I got from Justin D. Morgan. And this is actually it. This is the little thing that breaks out. It's a Pentium motherboard, but it's got integrated audio, and it's just like the weirdest thing. So it's just kind of neat. So I was like, yeah, if I can use the onboard audio, I'd sure like to play around with it. So got the adapter and we're ready to go, I guess. Also, Tech Dungeon. If you've not checked those guys out, you need to check those guys out. They make these neat shelves. So it's like, this one's an Apple one, but they made Commodore ones. They had Acorn and a couple of other companies that had like kind of unique logos. And it's basically like, this one is all sized to where it will fit right over the top of an Apple IIe. So that way or like a 2 Plus or whatever. So that way you can put the monitor on top of that, or you could just have like more storage, put drives up there, whatever you want to do. But they were very, very kind. They gave me one of these. I first met them at VCF East earlier this year. Really nice couple, so creative. So I just I was like, wow, this is really, really great. And so I ended up using it at my booth. I set it like, it really wasn't on display, unfortunately, but I kind of had it set back behind where I had some things, and it made all the difference of just being able to have like 2 layers on my desk for like stickers and other stuff like that. So I'll definitely be taking this to more shows because it's just so darn handy. Let's see, what else do we got here? Or is that it? Oh my gosh, that's it. I made it through the whole thing. Oh, wow. So Oh yeah, well, actually, this makes a lot of sense. Probably want to mention that too. But I'm wearing one of the nice things they've given to me. Eric from Eric's Edge gave me this HyperCard or Apple HyperCard user group T-shirt hug because we did a panel at the show that was all about HyperCard programming, and Eric bought this nice shirt for me. So I've been wearing it around, and people have been like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that was a thing. And then also, Will from KMac Vintage got me a shirt, and this everybody, the little turtle pirate guy with the peg leg, that's the kind of the like mascot or whatever for the Cayman Islands. But yeah, no, he got me like a really nice shirt. So I will have to wear this and show it off. It was really nice of Will, really nice of Eric as well. But that's really it. I got a lot of stickers, and I got a lot of little like weird add-ons and like doodads, and I got some cool challenge coins or like tokens for like going to an arcade and things like that. And it was all really, really neat. I'm probably forgetting a few things that were gifted to me or that I picked up at the show, but I mean that's the big stuff, I think. So anyway, that's really it. I want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your evening with me. And I definitely want to encourage you to try to get to VCF Midwest next year if you absolutely can, because it's just really like a lot of fun event. My advice to you would be, if it's in any way possible, you want to try to get there on Friday, so that way that like you're refreshed and you got time to kind of get up and get going Saturday morning, because when the show starts on Saturday, it starts in earnest. Like people are wheeling and dealing, and there's people that are still trying to bring stuff in like all day on Saturday. And I think those people it's so stressful for them to have to try to dig through all that stuff while people are running through. Because I mean, there were people bringing stuff in on carts, and there were people stopping them in the hallway. Like, hey, what's this? What's the price on that? What's the price on that? And it's like, oh, brother, I'm just trying to set up my booth. Come see me in 20 minutes. So hopefully those folks can plan and do stuff. And I saw a lot of new faces there this year that I'd never seen in the past. I guess the estimate was like there was 3,000 people that showed up. Like I can't remember where I read that. I read that online. Somebody said it was like 3,000 people through the door or something like that. If you watch the time-lapse video that's on the VCF Midwest YouTube page, yeah, I mean, I didn't count every person, but man, it sure looks like it. Pretty crazy. So anyway, I make sure that you go out and you you search on YouTube for all the other cool VCF Midwest content. There's a lot of people that did walkthrough videos and kind of like videos of their pickups and things like that. And so if you didn't go, maybe you can kind of see what was out there and maybe live vicariously through other people and kind of cheer them on. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I got like the one thing I've been waiting on forever. It was like my grail item or something. So anyway, that's really it for the moment. So again, as I said like 5 minutes ago, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your evening with me today, and I guess we will do this again soon. So let me see, what do I got going on here? Yep, okay, that's really it. So thank you so much for your time. I will talk to you again soon, and as I always say, Apple II forever.